Hi everyone, this is Greg Viti with Real Estate Legends and the Real Estate Channel. I'm here today with the principal of Hope Academy, Ike Muzikowski. Ike, so great to see you.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on your big championship win.
Thank you very much.
First state champions in school history.
Yeah.
So, Ike, you've been principal of this wonderful academy now for 6 years. Why don't you give me a little background on yourself and how your family got to putting this school together?
Nice. Great to be here. Thank you for, this is a principal's office, is what it looks like. This is where you come to receive encouragement or get suspended. So we're in an encouraging moment right now. It's awesome. But my parents, I grew up on the near west side of Chicago, close to Western and Roosevelt. And my parents ran a baseball little league and a drug rehab. So they would find guys in need of help, support, who were maybe strung out or homeless or just on street corners, and bring them to a church, drive them 3.5 hours south to a farm where they'd be for a couple months, get clean, sober, and come back to the city, look for jobs. So that was one aspect of growing up in sort of a unique, with a unique mentality. My parents are
We're not scared of it.
Yeah, our parents are very generous. If there's someone who's waiting on the side of the road in the rain, my dad would offer for them to get in the car. Or if we go to McDonald's, he's offering for someone to sit at our table. So we kind of grew up with a very high level of comfort engaging with strangers who other people might say like, oh, they're struggling, they're a bum, they're a homeless person, they're panhandling. But my dad always had that mentality. Someone could be an angel in disguise. You never really know.
You don't. So he was an angel. He is an angel.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool growing up in that sense. Lots of people would come over to our house, stay in our house for dinners. Then the baseball little league, my parents ran it.
Well, wait a second. You had your own team, right? Didn't you have like 7 kids?
There's 9 of us. Well, 9 of us in the house. I got 6 brothers and sisters. And then in high school, my adopted brother joined the family, so we say there's 8 of us. My mom had the first 6 of us in 7.5 years.
Wow.
And so I shared a bed with my brothers until I was about 9 years old. The 7 of us shared one bathroom. Didn't always have 7 toothbrushes, but big family, you learn to be efficient, you learn to share. Hand-me-downs, just kind of how we operate.
Sure.
But yeah, so we were all very much into sports. We were swimmers, runners, soccer, baseball. So my dad ran a baseball little league. Started one in Cabrini Green Housing Projects, and then moved over to the near west side and started one at Oakfield Park, corner of Congress Expressway 290 and Washtenaw, just off California. So if you're driving on the 290 Expressway, you can see the Hope sign on the south side.
I have seen that.
The big blue with white letters.
Yep.
So that's Oakfield Park, where he ran a baseball little league for about 600
But
kids.
hold on, we're not talking about the classic here. Is your mother?
Yes.
She homeschooled you all till how old or how long?
Until we got to Hope. So until we were
till 2005
through eighth grade. Yeah.
Okay.
2005 when Hope started. So my parents are running a drug rehab kind of ministry, running a baseball little league, and then raising 7 kids in the city. So my mom was a foreign currency trader in New York in the 80s. And then when she met my dad, they got married, moved to Chicago. She decided to homeschool us just because the local public schools aren't that rigorous, aren't very competitive.
Are you trying to say that the public schools on the west side are not going to give you a quality education, perhaps?
It's usually the way it unfolds.
Yeah, it's really sad but true.
Yeah, so that's, my mom was like, hey, I'm going to own the educational experience of my kids. And so
so what was that like? You literally have like a classroom in the house?
You could read all over the place. You could read anywhere. But we would do a lot of work at the kitchen table.
And she had a curriculum?
Yeah, so we were very big on math and vocabulary and reading. We all played the piano. Muzikowski is man of music in Polish. So we were classically trained till we were about 17.
That helps in math a lot.
Yeah, I've heard that. The intertwining of math and music.
Sure.
And so we would wake up early. My mom would usually do a Bible study with us, read to us, to just kind of hone our listening skills. and then it'd be kind of an each one teach one sort of format. When we were really little, if you were 7, you could read to the 5-year-old. If you were 10, you could work with the 4-year-old, whatever it needed to be. So everyone knew how to grade each other's assignments. You could learn in pods for certain things, but all of us taught our younger siblings, whether it's how to play chess, how to tie their shoes, how to cut a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in diagonals or squares. So lots of shared spaces, shared moments growing up. Yeah.
And so how old? So you were a freshman in high school when you came to Hope?
Yes. So it started in 2005 when I was.
How did that all come to be? Your dad decided he's going to get into education. Your parents did.
Yeah. So working with a lot of people who've made mistakes in life or come across hard times, drug abuse, alcohol abuse. My dad had a lot of empathy for them because he's a recovered alcoholic. He's a big AA guy. And so seeing like, hey, this is what a lot of society sees when you're looking at the west side of Chicago. It may seem like a stereotype, but in some ways it's a reality. On the flip side, working with kids in the Little League who are talented athletes, fun kids, good kids.
Good personalities.
But once you finish in the league, when you're turning 13, 14, 15, you're going to high schools. And the high schools are underperforming, not sending kids to college. And kids don't have parents who necessarily went to college. A lot of single parent households, lots of poverty. It's not easy to sort of just pull yourself up by the bootstraps.
It's hard to learn if you're hungry.
Yeah.
It really is a tough thing. And if you haven't gotten a proper sleep or you don't have any of that nourishment, it's rough.
Yeah.
So I'm excited that your family's brought so much good learning and nourishment to the west side.
Absolutely.
So, but how did they find this? Was this the original building?
Yes. So this was St. Callistus. This was an old Catholic school. The Archdiocese put it up for sale after the stairwell collapsed, maybe 2003 or 2004. So my parents and some of their friends bought it.
Good time to buy it.
Yeah.
With that collapse.
Yeah, they bought it, rehabbed it, brought in dozens of churches, other schools, just volunteers left and right for a year to put in the new drywall, demo everything, build this patio outside. And then 2005, the school opened with 60 freshmen and 12 sophomores.
Okay.
So I was in 7th grade. So the first time Hope had seniors, I was a freshman.
Wow.
My older sister was a senior. My brother was a sophomore. I was a freshman. Sister and adopted brother in 8th grade, brother in 7th grade, sister scout in 5th grade, and then baby Lace in kindergarten.
And not to brag about you too much, but you did make it to an Ivy League school, Columbia. And
Yeah.
then you made it to Harvard, and you graduated.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
That's really exciting.
A lot of times when people think if I say something clever or get into an argument, people say, "Oh, you think you're so smart because you went to these schools?" I'm like, "No, my mom taught me to read when I was 3." Like,
right.
So much credit just goes to my mom. My little brother went to Brown. My other brother went to Columbia. Scott went to Notre Dame. Like, all of I think so much of our academic success is just credit goes to my mom for teaching us so well and creating a sincere passion and hunger for learning.
So do you feel like that kind of put the light bulb off in your dad's head to say, wait, I have this educator I'm watching educate my kids right here. We could do this. I'm sure that must have been part of it.
Yeah, I mean, my mom was always in charge of helping plan the curriculum. My dad's kind of the hoorah, rally the troops motivator. And then my mom's a bit more of a systems person who was organizing a lot of things behind the scene, but also front facing when you needed to. And it's kind of like if your parents run a restaurant.
Right.
You get it.
Front of the house, back of the house.
You get it. For people who don't run a restaurant, kind of what we do might seem a little confusing, but there's you're raising all the money yourself. And so it's a private school with no government funding. A kid in a CPS school gets about $16,000, $17,000 for their educational experience. So we have to fundraise all of that. That doesn't come from our taxpaying dollars. So you have to organize the teachers, organize the kids, recruit them, have it all going, and then raise.
Well, you've got to bring good talented teachers that really believe in your mission, and you got to keep them here.
Yeah.
And so you got to be able to pay them. And so yes, it's there's a lot of moving parts to something like this running a school.
Oh, for sure.
So how many children are here today?
290 kids.
Is that pretty much your max, you think, or?
We've fit about 307 kids in at some point. It's just too crowded. When we go and look at the classrooms, you'll see it's tight. This building was for about 180 elementary-sized students.
Right.
And so when you see our linemen crowded into the desks, the heat could be out, but the temperature will climb with the amount of people in the room.
Well, let's discuss the exciting thing that you're working on, the trades. You're teaching people how to be carpenters, plumbers, electricians, heating,
operating engineers, laborers, so skilled trades. And so when my parents started the school, they saw a lot of kids not going on to college, entering into the street life, that influence. Said, hey, hope will be that catapult, that stepping stone, that galvanizing force to get kids to be the first in their family to go to college, which is great. This is my 6th year as a principal, 4th year as the president, and so we partnered with LIUNA, Local 150, the operating engineers, and IBEW Local 134 to start a trades program where kids can learn meaningful skills, where they can find meaningful employment and seek careers with upward mobility without having to go to college, without having to take on debt, without having to pursue something if they don't have a pure passion for a certain subject matter. If you don't love reading, it's hard to really get excited about going to college.
No, but so now, how many kids are involved in the trade program?
So last year we had 75 freshmen take the course, and this year we have about 90 juniors and seniors taking the class.
Fantastic.
And so we'll see it downstairs, but kids just getting comfortable with bending conduit, using compound miter saws to cut metal, getting comfortable with all the different tools in a toolbox, but also power tools, yes. Understanding how to install 1900 boxes or to mount a flat screen TV. So it's a lot of the basics. They spend the first couple weeks, maybe 2 months, going through OSHA requirement, hey, how to climb a ladder, how to make sure you don't cut your hand off.
Makes a difference.
And that can give you some anxiety as a principal, like that phase of...
I was a woodworker. Believe me, I had to bring someone to a hospital to cut their hand off, or finger off.
So we've had the safety first approach is fantastic. A lot of kids are new to it, but there's an excitement around it. Our instructor is fantastic. Kevin Walters, great guy. And so he taught the class last year to the freshmen. He's teaching all the juniors and seniors now. And so for our kids, when we're thinking trades doesn't have to be college or trades. We talk about IBEW, the electricians union. The average applicant for their union is in the mid-20s. Most of them are second career people who know how attractive a union pension is, how working with your hand, learning these different skills can equip you to eventually be a boss and have your own firm.
Be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You start your own business. Believe me, you learn to work with your hands. We just interviewed Warren Baker, one of the top developers in Chicago for years, and he's made so much money, but he puts it all back to, in grade school, taking things apart with his father and putting them back together, and then in high school doing auto shop, and he like Bruce Springsteen found the key to the universe in the engine of an old parked car. Yeah. It's kind of like with that for a lot of people. Bell goes off, and who's to say? If you want to run a successful business and be a painting business, you still might want to take some business classes.
Yeah.
And so, if you get the light bulb off in someone and they have a worthy ideal, everything flows in life.
Sure. And a lot of kids, most of our kids are coming from CPS schools, and so as a college prep high school, there's a bit of a unfamiliarity to the amount of structure, the expectations. It's not enough to, and that's as my ADHD kicking in. I hear the kids out there, and I'm just like, oh, who's that making noise?
But what's great is you want to go out there and say hi to each one of them, and every one of them's name.
I'm going to start scratching those, addicted to hanging out with the children.
I think that's fantastic, though.
If you want, at some point during a passing period, we should film us out in the passing
period. We will do
that.
that.
I think that'd be cool.
We will do that.
But yeah, so I have empathy and compassion for a student who's easily distracted by a
we called
unsolicited stimulus.
We called ADD in my years of school? Childhood.
Nice.
Every single kid I knew was bouncing off those, especially the boys. And the girls would probably go and sit and read on the couch. But my brother, everybody, we were just had to play a lot of sports because we had too much energy and we were running like crazy. So
Yeah.
I know what you're up against. But I've been here before. I've seen how you respond with the kids, and I can see the light in their eye. And you're really bringing that out in them. And what a wonderful thing that, Hope Academy is really bringing hope to these young kids.
Yeah.
And you're graduating kids out of college. And you're sending them to really nice places, which is really encouraging.
Yeah.
So we want to be able to get some more fundraising over here. Huh?
Yeah.
How can people get involved? You got your golf outing, right?
So you have a golf outing. So the greatest thing about being a private school is, hey, we can do what we want. We don't have the regulation from bureaucracy and these monolithic kind of structures taking forever. But the tough thing is we got to raise about $5 million a year in scholarships for all 300 kids. And so and that's for the high school, 300. We also run an athletic center for about 15,000 athletes. So it's like a high school in this.
And we want to talk about the athletic center too when we get a chance. Either way, we can go here. But that was another real estate feat.
Yeah.
So you definitely deserve to be on Real Estate Legends as a family because you pulled off the Glover experience. I mean, I don't know if we have time today to go over to the gym.
Oh, yeah, we'll hopefully be
hopefully we can go over there and slide over there.
But the spirit behind Hope is in the nature of the word equity. A lot of times people feel like a certain side of a political divide owns that word. But when you think about a kid from a low-income neighborhood whose parents didn't go to college, who's supposed to go to a public school where less than 10% of kids graduate from college, if that student doesn't want to be in that school, the most equitable thing you could do is give them a scholarship to go to a better school, rather than saying, hey, you must be a product of your environment. You should be limited to the opportunities of your zip code. So the beautiful thing about Hope is that we have kids coming from 50 different neighborhoods, mostly the west and south side of Chicago, East Garfield Park, Austin, North Lawndale, Little Village, Englewood, Irving Park, even kids on Humboldt Park. But the spirit behind Hope is empowering kids with a scholarship so that they can have a private school experience and really have a better chance of getting to college, persisting through college, and earning the degree. The only thing that we require is that everyone pays something. You can't pay nothing. My dad always says that too much free is not good for the west side of Chicago. There's free housing, there's free food, there's free school, there's another stimulus check, and in certain neighborhoods in Chicago, there's this very strong welfare culture. I believe welfare can be a great thing to keep a mom with 2 kidney transplants, a safety net so that she can survive with her kids. But a culture of entitlement, of neglect towards effort is also something that I see. And so we want to create a culture of ambition, of motivation, of hard work, of sacrifice, of generosity. And you do that with kids who can't necessarily work jobs yet. They're 14, 15 years old with respect. It costs $0 to treat someone with respect. So you go web to web, 2 pumps, quick release, look someone in the eyes and tell them, walk in the room like God sent you there. If you're feeling scared, do it nervous. You got to make it happen. Coaching kids up, hey, believe in who you can become. We believe in who you are, and we're seeing where you can go. That mentality is what we're trying to have all the kids buy into. So you might not have...
Wait, we need the whole world to buy into that mentality.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Aren't we all supposed to do that? We're brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
But you actually are doing it. So proud of you. It's really an honorable call.
Yeah. So we get creative to fundraise for the scholarships. Kids will put in a little bit, but we need whether it's sponsoring a kid's tuition, donating to a bus for us to have the ability to transport kids for away games, for getting involved with our golf outing or connectivity with
uniforms,
with different foundations. Everyone knows someone who's got access to resources, who might want to bless kids with an opportunity to have a better shot at success through academics. We have people who like supporting sports teams. We've got someone who works with an HVAC company. Our heat goes out in that science wing all the time. So any form of connectivity or financial generosity, even people in churches, people who don't have resources, who just want to pray for us. I think God has, a lot of our kids are coming from tough neighborhoods, and I think God has a hedge of protection around the school, around our community, and it's been a blessing to see us continue to progress. You can't run a high school where you're not asking kids to pay what it costs. It just doesn't make sense financially. So we kind of pitch our story and then get out of the way, and God works in the hearts of different people, activating their generosity. And so our donors and supporters, Friends of Hope, are the people who really carry us forward. Even something like this, being able to spread the message. You never know who might watch a video, feel compelled to visit, meet a kid, and that kid could get an internship with them 5 years down the road, and that kid's going to mentor one of our students, and it's like a cycle.
Well, I saw you speak at Rogers Park Builders for a few minutes, and I was sold. I wanted to come and learn a lot more, and then I find out one of my real estate legend buddies, Dan Nikitas, is involved with your golf outing, and Rich Malnati shows up, and you've got a good base already, so hopefully we can build on it. Do you do any other kinds of fundraisers? Do you do like a dinner or a gala?
This is our 20th year as a school. Super exciting. Our building has turned 100. It's a 1925 building, so wow. It feels tired in some different areas. Leaky roof, but we're getting some support to try to make sure everything's stabilized here. We're going to have a gala in October, so it's our 20th year celebration of how Hope got here today.
What's the websites people could go to get more information about the gala?
ChicagoHopeAcademy.org. We should have an events tab. Should be able to click that. I don't know if the tickets are live yet, or if we're having.
At least they could save the date.
Yeah, save the date, or even you can maybe put my email below the podcast link or whatever. People could always send me an email.
We could do that. I'd be happy to do that.
I'll send an optimistic reply. Send some goodness your way.
So you won the state championship. This must have really brought the spirit and energy in this place to the roof and higher.
Yeah, so we went downstate on Saturday and won the state championship, Class 1A.
Wow.
So we're a small school with 290 kids, but it was the first time we won a state championship in school history for any sport. We had gotten third place last year with Ronnie Fields, our head coach, in his inaugural season coaching the team. Came back with a bit more determination, motivation, and we won against Eastland. So we had played them earlier in the season and lost by 10.
Wow.
And then we were up by 6 at halftime in the championship game and won by 33. And so really just
went off.
Our point guard had 11 assists, 20-some points, set the playoff record for the state series. He set the record in the semifinal game with 10 assists, 20-some points, and then he broke his own record the next day, 2 days later, with 11. So very exciting. We got some of our supporters were able to buy tickets for the kids. Tickets costing $28. Kids not knowing if they're going to be able to drive down with a mom on a Saturday, and everyone's paying 4 people get in there. It's a couple $100. So some generosity. We got some buses, got tickets for the kids. So we had to bring about 250 Hope community members and students down there. So their team had their whole town went. They maybe had 3,000 people there, it felt like. So we'd be chanting our chants and they'd start chanting, "We can't hear you," and it would work. Like they would drown us out, and we're like, man, can't go over there and start fighting. You just sort of be quiet now. And
no, get quiet when
you don't really know.
20.
Yeah, don't really know what to do. I mean, we're small but powerful, and the sincerity, the passion, the excitement from our kids, from our parents, can have ups and downs in different ways, but the love from the Hope community surrounding the boys was fantastic. So we've got a celebration this Thursday. Mr. Janulius, Secretary of State, is going to come in and talk to the kids, then we'll go and visit City Hall with the students. So it's kind of like how you win the NBA, go to the White House, we get to go to City Hall. So we're excited for our kids. It's really great for our school, especially when you think about the real estate aspect of it and the trades class. Of all 12 of our boys are in that course. And so sometimes stereotypes of star athletes, someone who's catching an alley-oop or someone who's crossing someone over, they're a one-dimensional hooper. This is what they do. Or if someone has tattoos or earrings or certain hairstyles, there's stereotypes that comes with it. But when you see our boys with tattoos or certain hairstyles, whatever it may be, we want people to start thinking, hey, that's that future electrician. Hey, that's that future business owner. That's that future accountant. And so we're happy that we won the state championship, but one of our glowing pieces of excitement is really our conduct. And we had sports writers, O'Brien from the Sun-Times, the coach from the team we beat in the Elite Eight, just sending us emails or writing about us, hey, the way you guys conduct yourself is impressive. We don't argue with the refs. We're not complaining about calls.
Maturity.
Yeah, I always say a prayer before the game that we play with character, goodwill, and sportsmanship. Whether you win or lose, you'll be victorious.
Play as hard as you can, but play as a sportsman. I've always
knock them down, pick them back up. Even for our fans, sometimes things can get a little out of line in high school. It's like, hey, let's cheer for our team, not against their team. It's a little less fun. It's a little less popular. It's less sensational.
But it's teaching the right message.
Yeah, it's understand, like, hey, even though, like, those kids, even if we win the game, we're not doing, hey, goodbye, start the buses. We're not doing that. We have to understand, like, hey, they got to go home too. If we were on the opposite end of that could sting. Don't kick someone when they're down. So, and our kids would start the chance, like, but me, my sister Scout, we're like, hey, we're not doing that. Let's honor the fact that they made it to the state championship too.
Right.
So it's less common to see that in schools, but I always want to make sure our kids are putting their character, their reputation first. Lots of people are watching. Sometimes you got to swallow your excitement to make a better play for yourself, play chess, see the long run. But same thing, I think, like, your talent will get you in the door, but your character will keep you in a certain position. And so you want to make sure you have a good reputation. We want the Hope brand to be something that's associated with respect, with consistency, with integrity,
teamwork,
trustworthiness. Yeah. So I say with a firm handshake, a good attitude, and a critical mass of intelligence, you get your foot in any door. But it's not enough to be a good kid. You got to be good for something. You need certain skills. You need to have standards. You need to be able to complete the task.
You mean, like, you think being able to read well and understand well and get along with people? And
process.
Have a trade that you can prosper in. Yeah, I think that sure helps.
Like
now, folks, can you see why I wanted to have Ike on this program? He's very inspirational. He's done so many things to the West Side. We have to get the rest of your family on at some point, and your father and your mother if possible.
Okay.
But I really appreciate you taking the time. Maybe we'll go out in the hallway, or want to go into a class and see what's going on there.
Is this the dance segment of the show where we just start?
Yes.
No?
Ready? Like sprockets.
Oh, yeah,
sprockets. Okay, this is Greg Viti from Real Estate Legends with Ike. Thank you so much, and pass the word and share this, will you?
Thank you.